So I really like my PS5 when it wants to work. And that, unfortunately, has been the problem with my PlayStation 5. Despite all the troubleshooting steps that I have done and followed with Sony on support, I'm gonna have to send this out to get repaired or possibly RMA'd. So let's talk about this a little bit, starting from the beginning when I first did my video talking about the external hard drive problems that I had with the PlayStation 5. And that was specific for external USB hard drives that were formatted to play PlayStation 4 games off of it. I was experiencing crashing when doing that. But since I unplugged that and moved that on, and I think I got another firmware update since then, there's been a lot more crashing still happening with this. It crashes when I was playing games like Miles Morales. I thought that was a game, tried re-downloading the game, still the same issue. Crashed on Astro's Playroom, tried the same thing, still the same issue. It was crashing on PS4 games as well too. It was actually crashing when just getting into the menu system itself, and it was to the point where it kind of crash loop a few times where it would get into maybe one part of the menu and just crash out. You could wait a few minutes and then it would crash out again. It could be hours before it happens again, crashes right out. And it could even crash to the point where it couldn't even get into the login screen. It would get to that point and crash out immediately and go through this loop of crashing and turning blue and white until eventually it just powered down off, and then I'd have to power it on again and it came back up. And you would get this very common error message here, which is error message CE108262-9. And when I'm speaking with Sony support, who was very supportive in sort of getting things set up here, basically that error doesn't have anything. You probably Google search that and nothing will come up for it. They basically explain that's a very general error that just happened to say that something happened. Something happening. We've seen that in Windows before. It just crashed out and nothing specific for it. Now, I tried everything to fix this. I changed all the cables around. I did a backup first because I wanted to do a full restore of the system. So I did a full backup, but unfortunately the backup crashed as well too. When I tried to do that, one time it went 30 minutes, another time it went 3 hours. It got to close to the end and it said, can't back up, and gave absolutely zero error message and any real reason why it actually happened. Even error message, but it basically didn't have any. So I said, okay, I still have my stuff backed up into the cloud. I can re-download the games or reinstall them. So I went ahead and did the internal wipe first that you can do inside of it, the internal reset feature. So reset that back up, brought it back to factory settings, went through the setup process, and as soon as it got into the login screen, crashed right back out again, just like that. And it went through the crash loop again with that. And it was still doing the same patterns as it was doing before. And then I decided, okay, let's do the ultimate thing here. Let's do the USB. Let's do it on the safe mode. Let's choose option 7, fully reinstall the operating system fully within this, starting off fresh. Tried that and it worked well for a little bit. Then eventually, same crashes out, same issues that were happening before with it. And at that point, I was like, well, I'm out of ideas. I've swatted everything else out. So let me call Sony support, who were very, very helpful. They're very backed up. To be honest with you, it took about an hour and a half, and about 6 calls to get in, because you could call a few times and it'll just say, hey, we're too busy, and just call back later. Then when I finally got through, it was about 60 minutes before I actually connected with somebody. That person was very, very helpful, listened to all the tests, everything I've done with it. And we've set this up to get RMA repaired. So it's either going to get repaired if they can fix it, or they're going to swap it out for a new one and send it over to me. And I'll record and go over all that process and make a video about that when going through that here with it. But my opinion is, what I'm thinking is wrong with this, it's probably an SSD issue. The internal SSD is probably having some problem. Maybe firmware could fix this, I'm not sure, but I think if it could, they would have sent this out by now. I think it's internal SSD issues because it's crashing similar to that. I work in IT outside of this as system engineer, and when you see a hard drive crash, it's got similar behaviors as what the PlayStation's doing. So I think it has something to do with that. But who knows, maybe, it could be anything else. Hopefully Sony maybe gives me some type of reason as to why things happen and send back when they send it back, and we can kind of work there with that. So hopefully this has helped you out if you're running into these issues, which I'm pretty sure people have, among some other issues as well too. So I'll be out of a PlayStation for a little bit while this either gets repaired or swapped out. So my coverage is going to slow down a little bit. I do have another video coming out talking about the Wi-Fi versus wired on this in terms of download speeds, which I think it's outside of the issues here. So I'm still going to post that. I have a ton of PlayStation 5 videos already up. You can check out that playlist full of that stuff to check that out if you want to. And we'll keep the ball rolling here with some Xbox and other gaming tech as well too. But in the meantime, got to get my PS5 repaired. I'll keep you updated.